Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Press Box. Brian Carson here with my co-host Kenny Barner. How you doing, Ken?
I am doing great. I look forward to this all week. I just couldn't wait to get to here. So,
Me
um,
too, Kenny, but I hate this weather. I don't like heat,
mm,
man.
mm. Yeah, well, it would be. I mean, the heat's bad enough, but when you go from like what 40s to 50 degrees to like 80 and 90,
Yeah.
that's a little bit too much to.
And it's really bad, buddy, when you're a fat diabetic like I am.
Mm,
Just beats on you.
mm.
And we got Josh Yoder on tonight. How you doing, Josh?
I'm
Hey,
doing
Josh.
well. Hey, Kenny, how you guys?
Good, good.
Okay. Anybody out there listening? I got a stomach ache real bad. I've had them. And I just watched a YouTube video where it says, unbelievable, Kenny, the best thing for if you have stomach issues, the best thing is red meat.
Oh,
I never freaking heard that. If anybody can prove that and you got stomach issues too, let me know before the show ends. I need help. All right. Hey, we'll start off tonight. Kenny,
yes.
Liz Gaynor is human. Juniata lost tonight to Susquehanna 2-0 after they had beaten them earlier in the season 9-0. So Juniata, their first loss of the season against, are they the Blackhawks or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
the Blackhawks.
they're Blackhawks. Yeah. But you know what? This is probably one of the best things that could happen to them, because right now they ran off a string of 14 wins, and each game you go through it, the pressure to keep remaining undefeated, and their hopes to get back to the state championship. Well, they got their loss now. They got their bad game over with, so they can go from this point on and not worry about having to be undefeated. Liz is going to be Liz. The bats are going to come back around. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a rematch here probably for the TVL the Tri Valley title. So it's just one little hiccup in the road.
I blame Craig Bubb.
No, I do agree. I do agree with you a lot on that one, Kenny. Because I'd much rather. I mean, would it be cool to have an undefeated season? Absolutely, but I would so much rather just have the losses now in the regular season. That way, it just shows that hey, you can make mistakes, and it just keeps you more focused going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And when they went on their March last year, I think they had 3 or 4 losses, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it had 4. It's hard to stay undefeated. It's
Right.
in any sport, especially any sport, college, pro, high school. I mean, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Look, every year, college we had one football, Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
Michigan. That was it. Basketball, none.
Penn State wrestling was undefeated.
They're always undefeated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing new. That's
They're
nothing new.
They're on a different level than everybody else.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like 60-some dual meets in a row.
I just can't get over the fact that they've had multiple seasons where they go into the championship finals and they've already won the team title.
Yeah, well, this year they won it on day 2 of the NCAAs. It was already over.
Jeez.
And they lost Brooks, which is a big-time loss. A big, huge loss. But they got everybody else back. With Starachi saying he was coming back, they didn't know if Starachi, Bo Bartlett, or Kirk Bleat were coming back, and they all came back. So you got Starachi, a 4-time national champ, Kirk Bleat, a national champ, and Bartlett was runner-up. And they've decided to come back. You got Levi Haynes, national champ, back. And then you're going to have Luke Lillidahl come in, who won the U.S. Open last weekend, the under-20 U.S. Open. He beat Benny Kilkeary, who's going to start for Ohio State this year by a technical fall. He teched his way through the entire tournament. Lillidahl is a stud. And Penn State's just better and better and better and better. They had 4 guys win the U.S. Open who will be at Penn State next year. Yeah.
Who went through the portal? Who was that? Was he very?
I didn't see it. Who went in the portal, man?
I don't know. I just saw that somebody went through the portal, and I didn't recognize his name, but you know.
Oh man! Now I'm like, Kenny, where'd you see this at?
Facebook. You know how they're 100%. You know.
You're talking about a Penn State wrestler in the portal.
Yeah,
I knew some would go because they'll never make it into the lineup. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna go nuts.
Well, speaking of wrestling,
Oh, okay. I don't blame him. It's Terrell Barraclough.
Where did he transfer to?
Nowhere yet. He's still in the portal.
Oh, okay.
He has. I do not blame the kid. You know why, Ken?
Why,
Josh?
Why?
He is a heck of a backup. This guy was 12-2 as a backup last year and beat a couple ranked kids. But at the weight class he's at, you've got Messenbrink. Then up at 74, you'll have Starachi, but I don't think he'll stay there. You have Facundo. Kid's got 1 year left, and he's transferred out. I don't blame him.
No,
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I can't really blame him either.
Get a chance to go because he is good enough to make it to the NCAAs. He's good enough to be an All-American. It's just Penn State. And you're going to see more of this, Kenny. Penn State's so deep with talent. You're going to see kids go into the portal. Good kids because they can't get into the lineup.
Yeah.
That's just how good Penn State is at wrestling.
You're going to see a bunch of the kids move out that they recruited Nasdio and that at 125 because nobody's going to beat Lillidahl. Nobody. This kid is one of the quickest kids I have ever seen from neutral. He can get a takedown in a blink of an eye. He's really good. So you're going to see guys leave Penn State. I'm not surprised. Thank you for letting me know. I did not know Barraclough left. But he deserves it. He deserves to go somewhere and have a chance to be an All-American. He spent 4 years at Penn State. He's got an eligibility for another year. And he's done everything Cale asked him to. And I'm sure Cale gave his blessing when he entered the portal.
Yeah.
It's speaking of wrestling, man, I was watching the Olympic trials, and I was jumping off the wall when I saw Trent made the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was
the bad part, though. The bad part, I love that he made it. The bad part is the weight he's at.
What's his weight?
86 kilograms. That's where Aaron Brooks and David Taylor are.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about impressive. If you watch that, did you see the way Brooks dominated David Taylor? I mean, he basically, there's no beating around the bush. He kicked his ass. And you're talking about Taylor was a defending gold medalist.
And don't get me wrong, he's good, but Brooks just, whew.
David Taylor's great. He was considered the best wrestler in the world going into that tournament, and Brooks made him look silly.
How do you think
that old saying, the king is dead, long live the king. How do I think Brooks is going to do? He wrestles like that. He's got the gold. Who the hell's going to stop him?
I don't know the other countries' rosters, but his
main challenge will come from Iran.
Right. But
they're the number 2 team in the world. We're
Right.
number one.
Well, isn't it usually U.S., Iran, and Russia?
Yeah, it was usually Russia, and then everybody else wanted to be Russia.
Mm.
And then when communism ended, they died because all their country, it was all broken up into little countries, but they were the dominant team. They kicked everybody's butt. Everybody's.
And they were pretty good at a lot of sports too back then.
Oh, and they're still good at wrestling,
yeah.
but they're not what they were. It's
Yeah.
Iran and the United States now.
Yeah, but I just was like going crazy because I was like, when I saw like Trent's name, and I think it actually might have been either you or Kenny that brought it up, and I was like, I just couldn't. I was just so happy for him.
He had a hell of a tournament. He beat, which I put in my story, he beat 4 wrestlers combined who had won 10 national championships in college. And I said that in the story I wrote about him, and I still believe it. The only thing that kept Trent from a national title is he just had the unlucky. He was unlucky enough to be in the same weight as Brooks.
Right.
All 4 years. He was in the same weight as Brooks. 84, and then look, Trent moves up to 97, and what does Brooks do? Moves up to 97.
I'm just curious. Why did Brooks say why he moved up to 97?
Yeah, he got tired of cutting weight,
Oh, okay.
just like Hidley did.
Yeah.
You get sick of that.
Fair enough.
It wears on you. Penn State's got a problem with that next year with Levi Haynes. The champ, national champ. He had serious, according to Jeff Byers, the voice of Penn State wrestling on the radio, Haynes, and he knows what's going on in that program. Haynes had a hell of a time making 157 this year. And he doesn't think he's going to be able to do it next year. And that causes a problem because we got Messenbrink at 65. Carter Starachi's going up, so we're going to have Facundo at 74. I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll see.
What isn't it just because like your body just naturally just wants to grow?
Yeah, you get weaker trying to cut weight all the time, especially if you have to cut a lot.
Yeah.
It wears on you. But it's okay.
You know, looking at it from a local level, we have really been blessed these last 8 to 10 or even longer with local wrestling. Holy crap. You know, you had both Heath and Trent, and then you had Kai before that. You had, or after that, you just, it goes on and on. The tradition that the Hidleys, have made in the area has been incredible. Well, you've known them ever since they were in elementary school. They've they've been impressive ever since that. And will we ever see anything like this again?
Not for a while.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to have wrestling ability, you have to be mentally strong and have a passion for it. And they did. That's all they wanted to do was wrestle. That's what they decided on. That's what they focused on. That was their life.
Yeah,
and that's why it's not some magic pill. That's why they got so damn good.
Yeah, and to add on to your point, Carson, like, and we've all seen their mentality, like Hayden and Trent, like they weren't just like focusing on wanting to win; they wanted to beat you. Like their mentality was, we're coming to win. And you don't. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of good wrestlers, but a lot of them didn't have that mentality. Like we're coming to win. We're not coming to wrestle. We're coming to win.
Well,
but it's such. Oh, go ahead, Kenny. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that is the whole family mentality. It goes back to their dad. When Mark was in high school, that's his mentality. He wanted to be the best in everything. He was Alex Eufemo Award winner. Played basketball, football, stood out in football. And then you had the oldest brother Heath Hidley, one of Mifflin County's first real big runners. He had a great career at or how you say it, your
Or
sinus?
sinus, yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Trenton Hayden and, and their little sister, who's, also
Yeah.
Susquehanna continuing her career. That family, I mean, that's got to be one of the most talented, gifted, and focused families that Mifflin County has ever seen.
I've covered.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say Lydia, right? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lydia.
She was. I've covered her in field hockey too. She wasn't afraid to hit somebody.
No, and the thing is, though, yes, it is true about the family, but there is nobody, and I mean it, in Mifflin County's history that has accomplished what they have
No.
on the wrestling scene. You are a member of the frickin' U.S. national team, and you're from little Lewistown, Pennsylvania. About the only one you could say is Ralph Baker, who played 11 years pro football and has a Super Bowl. That's the pinnacle. But the Hidleys are right there. I mean, look, wow. Trent, a 2-time runner-up at Nationals. And the only reason he didn't win them is Brooks. Then he makes the U.S. national team. And he's still going to keep wrestling, he told me.
Nice.
And
his goal for as long as he's willing and his body holds out is to someday be on the Olympic team.
And didn't he and I believe Skylar Ciccolini, they both went to the Junior Olympics, did they not?
Yeah.
So he's been wrestling that for a long time.
But I know people disagree with me. Some they'll bring up Ciccolini and they'll bring up the others, but my God, what they've accomplished, that doesn't happen much in Lewistown.
No.
And it's not a knock against any of these wrestlers that are coming up. Could we have state champions? Absolutely. We can have state champions in wrestling. Will we ever see the likes of those two again? If we do, it will be a long, long time. I'll be pushing up daisies.
Yeah.
I think. I hope there's a young wrestler out there listening going, F you, Carson, I'm going to do it.
Well, and for the record, it may not have to be wrestling either. It could be another sport.
There is only one sport. Actually, there's two. Football's the other one. There's football and wrestling, right? That's it. I'm kidding. So what have you been up to, Kenny, in the how's the spring going for you? What are some of your thoughts on what you've seen?
Oh, I'll tell you what. This year could be a repeat of last year. There is a lot of teams that are on their way to heading to the postseason. A lot of good ball play. The team that I'm most impressed with is probably the Mifflin County baseball team. They're really, really coming on, and they beat Mount Union last week.
Yeah, I saw that 5-3.
Yeah, so anytime you can beat them, no matter what shape Mount Union's in, that's an accomplishment. So they gave Bellefonte a heck of a battle, and Bellefonte, I believe, is only lost once. So yeah, we're gonna have quite the busy schedule here with Mifflin and Juniata. Looks like the Juniata baseball team's going to be heading to the playoffs as well. I'll pretty much Juniata softball. Need I say more? They're already pretty much penned in or sharpied in to the playoffs. Up here in Center County, we're gonna have Phillipsburg softball. We're gonna have Bald Eagle baseball and softball. Both of them are picking up where they left off last year. Bellefonte softball under their first year coach. She I can't think of her name offhand. Erica Davini. She has that team going in the right direction. Bald Eagle softball, I said that. Bellefonte baseball is cruising right along. And then you have Penns Valley softball, who are just doing enough to pick up some wins and making a slow charge to the finish line. So it looks like the scheduling will be pretty full here come the end of the season.
Well, I think honestly, I can't prove it. I think Dyke at Bald Eagle. We had him on last week, Doug Dyke. Mm-hmm. I think he's got NIL money stashed away and getting these kids in. I'm going to have to ask Doug. You'll have to ask him for me, Kenny. You'll see him before I do. Tell him Carson thinks you got NIL in your recruiting.
He did a great job down at the Capitol. Hopefully he
can, did he good.
Yes, he took, like you said, he took some of his players down there, and hopefully they can put it into PIAA hands and fix this.
But the thing is, and I was just talking about this the other day with one of our buddies, Dave Berman. Do you know it isn't just private schools that recruit?
Really?
They get the bad rap for it, but they're recruiting everywhere. If you're a non-boundary school, even if you're public, you can get kids from other areas.
I did not know that.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Kenny. Dante Sheffy of State College is now with Harrisburg.
No, holy crap.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Sheffy is at Harrisburg. And he has, as far as I know, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, he has no freaking family down in Harrisburg.
That's a bit.
But he's there. He's there. And I guarantee he's living with somebody there.
Mm-hmm.
And they got another kid, I don't remember where he's from. 2 running backs that are studs are playing for Harrisburg.
See, that ain't right.
It isn't just the public. It isn't just the private schools anymore. Public schools do it too. It's just not in the news enough.
And they hide it better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What they'll do is they'll get Emma to live with a family. As long as the PIAA, as long as you have a physical address at the school you're going to, you're okay. And what they do is they get these athletes and they get them somewhere. They get them out like a family to stay with.
That kind of sounds like in minor league baseball, where like you have a guy that's like coming to play there. They have like someone that like pays them so they can live there with them. That's what it kind of sounds like to me.
Yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I bet you, we've talked to him before, but I bet you Matt Lintel is pissed off. Mm. Here he is developing Sheffy and all that. Sheffy was hurt last year, unfortunately. He was going to be the major part of the Little Lions offense this year, and he's gone. And not only that, Lintel's got to face him.
Yeah.
Because they're both in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth.
Oh.
Tell me there ain't going to be some bad blood in that game.
Yeah. That'd be one to buy a ticket for. That's for
sure. You're going to have to report that, Kenny. You're going to have to go to that, Kenny, and report the carnage.
Yeah.
So look, and I have nothing against them.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Brian Hills when he coached Reynolds. He's retired now. His son, his stepson, Casey Taylor, coaches him now. Reynolds has always recruited. They get kids from Greenville, Erie, all over. But in defense of him, they don't actively pursue them. Because they're non-boundary, the kids come. They're a class act. You want to know how classy they are, Kenny?
How's that?
When I went to Hershey, they were the only team. Casey Taylor got them all together before each session. Got them together, and they all got on their knees and prayed.
Nice.
The only school that did it. So I'm not saying they're cheating because they don't actively look for them. But I'm saying if a kid from Greenville, Reynolds is such a traditional power, if a kid wants to go there and he moves there, it's a non-boundary school, they're allowed. But Reynolds has gotten play. And don't tell me, I know he's a great coach. Don't tell me Southern Columbia doesn't recruit in football. That school, that town, Catawissa, I'm going to be graphic here. That town is about the size of a pimple on my butt. And yet they've won 14 state championships in 21 years. No, they're not recruiting. They only had Julian Fleming there, who's now going to be at Penn State, which we'll get to those lousy. Ugh. Everybody's bragging them up again like they're going to be champions. What do they got? They've got no damn. I mean, yeah, I know Fleming came back to Penn State, but what's the one? Keandre Lambert, whatever? Mm-hmm. Went to Auburn. He went NIL to Auburn. Last year they didn't have a receiver that was any good. Now they lose their best guy? Who's Aller going to throw to? Maybe they'll ask Josh to come out. I'm sorry to piss Penn State fans off, but every year, it's not that I'm against Penn State football, but every year the fans around here, around Central PA, not just Lewistown, that get so arrogant about Penn State football. And what have you won lately? What?
And it's bad enough that
the Pinstripe Bowl.
Well, it's bad enough that they have a tough enough time against Ohio State and Michigan. Now they got UCLA, they got USC.
UCLA sucks ass. And I know I'm a Bruin fan. Us going to the Big Ten is annihilation time. I bet you we don't win 4 games.
At least
but they do. They do have Oregon there.
And Oregon too, yeah.
And Oregon's very good, even without Bo Nix. And Washington still has some players. Mm-hmm. And Iowa's going to be okay. Wisconsin. But yeah, the main thing is he's done it one time in Ohio State with luck. But Franklin can't beat Michigan or Ohio State. Does anybody raise your hand? Do you think they're going to beat Ohio State this year?
Nah.
No. Ohio State's actually, I'm going to tell you, Ohio State's my pick to win the national title.
I'll say that they won't.
It all depends on Will Howard coming from Kansas State, how he runs the offense. But they are loaded with talent. Loaded.
Yeah, I think Penn State won't beat Ohio State, but I do believe that they'll beat Michigan now. I do believe they can beat them.
Oh, no, it's going to be at Penn State, right?
I believe this year it is, yeah.
Yeah, because they can't beat them in Michigan. Mm-hmm. Even if Michigan was 3-10, they'd lose to them at Michigan.
It's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was last year. I have become overnight a giant fan of Blake Corum.
I knew you would.
He might only be 5'6" or whatever, but I love it.
I was a little surprised the Rams drafted him because they still have like Akers and Freeman.
No, they have Kyron Williams, who was a star.
Oh.
But I'm glad they did because Kyron, both years, this next year will be his third year, but he's missed games both seasons. He gets hurt. And now we have a backup that actually could be decent.
So he'd be like the modern day Joe Morris, Joe Morris.
Yeah, little Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pee Wee, for the like. Pee Wee Duncan is always liking us. You got to thank him, Kenny, when you see him.
Well, I do. I slip him a 20 every week.
All right, good. No wonder he's thanking us and giving us a like.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little about this NFL draft.
Okay.
6 quarterbacks in the first 12 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Never been done before. And if you look at the draft, it's hard to believe, but most first-round quarterbacks fail.
Yeah.
Fail. And every year, there's teams that fall in love with quarterbacks and go overboard and take them too high. And we had 2 this year, and I know the one, I'm going to say, Penix. And the other one was Bo Nix. Nix was graded as a second-round pick, and he goes number 12.
Isn't Nix about ready to join AARP? Isn't he like that?
I mean, yeah. Well, Penix is old too. For football, he's going to be about a 25-year-old rookie by the time the season starts. And, why would you do that? I understand, like they said, you're looking for a quarterback for the future because Cousins is 36. But you just gave Cousins this gigantic contract. And now you bring Penix in. Don't tell me it isn't going to cause trouble. I mean, it's human nature. If I was Cousins, I'd be so pissed off. It's like, then why did you bring me in?
Exactly. That was like, what the heck moment.
I could have went elsewhere.
Well, they could have dropped down, got some more draft picks.
Yeah, and still got Penix.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could think of when that happened was I was like, are they going to try to make him like how they did with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, build him up for like a few short years and then have him go?
Yeah, but I said that's my point. At 25, he doesn't have a few short years. He really doesn't.
If you sit him for 3 years, what, 27, 28?
He's going to be
a rookie.
He's going to be 28 going on 29 with no experience starting. Please. A lot of times it depends with a quarterback being successful. It depends on where they go. Brady went to the Patriots with Belichick. Probably the best example is Ben Roethlisberger won right away with the Steelers because Bill Cowher made them. They were already good before Roethlisberger.
Right.
Out of all these quarterbacks, I think the one that has the best chance right now, because of where he landed, is J.J. McCarthy. Because the Vikings are not. You get to throw to Justin Jefferson? Give me a break. Jefferson could make me look good.
And also, I think Hawkinson's still there.
T.J. Hawkinson, yeah.
And he's got targets, so.
You bet. And they were a playoff team not last year, but the year before that. Denver is bad. Knicks is going to struggle.
What about, what's his name? North Carolina. Is it May?
May is going to struggle. New England's bad.
I think I really liked what Chicago did with getting Caleb Williams and then getting Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
I think they were 7-win team, and first round pick goes to a 7-win team. That's pretty good. You got your foundation already started.
Yeah, and they have DJ Moore, and if he stays healthy, they got Keenan Allen from the Chargers.
Yeah.
So they gave him weapons, and Cole Kmet. But I think he's in trouble. Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. They are not a good team, and I don't like quarterbacks who run all the time. I don't care who they were, they end up, Vic Cunningham, they end up getting hurt. Last year, Anthony Richardson of the Colts, bang, out for the season. And
It just takes one.
I think the two best, the best in shape are the Williams and J.J. McCarthy. I do.
And what's crazy is they're in the same division.
Yeah, that's going to be a wicked division to have to go through. You got the Lions, and you got Green Bay, and then you got Chicago and the Vikings, who are on the rise. So
I don't want to jinx anybody, but to add to your point, Kenny, that division, they could have a team in that division with like a losing record, and you probably don't want to play them.
Not going to be good. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely. Of course, since we brought that up before the show, Penn State had 8 kids drafted. Most of them too high. Fashio's got work. They even said that, most of the scouts. He's got work. He's not a polished tackle yet in the NFL. And he's going to be asked to protect Rodgers. He'll be okay. Chop Robinson confuses me. He's got a ton of skill, but absolutely no production. Adisa Isaac had better stats than Chop. And
how much do you think, though, the at the combine, that the speed he showed at the combine really put his stakes up higher?
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves these workout warriors. I want a guy that can play and produce. I don't give a shit what 40 time he runs or how many reps. I mean, why are you doing 40 times on offensive and defensive linemen? Does it really matter? All you want is, hey, big guy, knock that other guy on his ass. Not, oh my God, he ran a 4.5 40. Who cares? Are you giving your tackle the ball? They go over. I'll give you an example. We got a steal, and I know I'm biased for the Rams, in the 5th round. Cameron Kinchins from Miami, the safety. Do you know why he fell? He ran a 4.65 at the combine. They had him rated as a 2nd or 3rd round talent, and he fell to the 5th. Okay, remember what I said? What's more important, numbers or producing on the field?
Producing on the field.
Producing, definitely.
Cameron Kitchens had 11 interceptions in 2 years at Miami, Florida. There's only 2 other players in Miami history that did that. One was Ed Reed, and the other one was Sean Taylor. Think they were good?
Just a little.
Yeah,
both are in the Hall of Fame. and Kinchins is the 3rd to do it. Now, I don't care if he runs a 4.6. Now, I'd care if he was a corner and ran 4.6. But he's not. He's going to be covering running backs and tight ends. And he is a playmaker. Plus, he blitzes like a maniac. Not only did he have 11 interceptions, but last year he had 55 tackles. Now, that's a steal. And they go too much on numbers. What he bench pressed. Okay, here's my example. 2 big examples. Probably considered the 2 greatest players to play the game. What was Tom Brady's stats at the combine?
Oh, they're horrendous.
Terrible.
Horrendous. What was Jerry Rice's 40 time?
It was pretty high.
4.6.
And yet somehow he was able to get by people.
Only Bill Walsh saw the talent that was in him. His draft evaluation was too slow and from a small school. Okay. All he is the all-time touchdown leader in NFL history. He sucked, right?
Yeah, he's terrible. Right?
40 times in that don't matter. Don't.
And you talk about too much of something too. I mentioned about your Rams earlier, Carson. Was the first round pick was Verse, right?
Oh, I loved it. It.
He was like he was so offensive oriented for I think the first 20 picks.
Yeah.
And he fell first 15 or something like that, and he was 19 with the Rams. And I'm like, I thought he was projected to be a top pick.
He was. They had that big run on offense, first 14 picks, and I was thrilled. And then when we got to 19 and the Rams are picking, and I'm serious, I'm going, oh, don't be stupid, take Verse. Don't be stupid, take Verse. Please don't do anything cute. And they took Verse. I mean, just a brutal pass rusher and football player. I was thrilled. That he fell to 19.
And the Rams defense wasn't necessarily that bad last year.
No, we're winning the Super Bowl, man. It's like Penn State wrestling. Just give us the Lombardi right now. Right now. Who's going to beat us? The Eagles? They choke in the playoffs.
Yeah. So do the Cowboys.
Yeah. Cowboys. No running back. They bring back Ezekiel. Bring back Ezekiel Elliott. The cords are showing through on the tires, and they bring Ezekiel Elliott back and let Pollard go.
Well, he stole the show for the Patriots. Ezekiel did, man. He really lit it up there in his time.
Did he even finish the season?
Yeah, but he's basically a backup now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the Lions could get back to the championship game. They could.
That would be nice. I'd like to see him finally get over that hurdle. Holy crap.
They got a world of
your Rams.
I don't want to see him get over any hurdle.
I didn't realize until they made it that was only the second time they made it there in their history.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
I was like,
the last time they won a championship, whether it's NFL championship or Super Bowl, well, they've never won a Super Bowl. They've never been to a Super Bowl. Last time they won the NFL championship before it was called the Super Bowl was 1955. What were you doing in 55, Josh?
My parents weren't even born yet, let alone me.
Well, Kenny and I weren't either.
Oh, my gosh.
So the Lions have waited a long time for this. I'm happy for them, but I don't want them to beat the Rams again. No way. But I will give credit where credit's due, and I usually don't. I loved 2 picks your Steelers made, Kenny.
Nice. Which one's the Fatu?
First round, Fatanu is a brute. Yeah. And then the third round was a steal. He fell in the draft because of injuries. Peyton Wilson is a hammer at linebacker. An absolute hammer. One of those guys that's a tackling machine. If he stays healthy, Steeler fans are going to love him.
And he's from Nebraska, right?
NC State.
NC State. Oh, yeah. NC State.
He's going to be inside linebacker. They'll pair him with that no-talented TJ Watt. And he's going to stuff the run. I'm telling you, he is a hammer. He only fell because of injuries, or else he'd have been a late first, early second round pick.
He was out of football for a while, wasn't he? Because of a neck injury. Some
Yeah.
kind of injury.
Yeah, that was Latu too, but that's why Wilson fell, and he doesn't have an ACL anymore.
Ooh, dang!
You can play without it, but he doesn't have an ACL, and but yeah, he's and one thing I got to say, which sums it all up about Peyton Wilson, he was also a wrestler in high school. There you go. Wrestlers can do anything.
And you mentioned him earlier too. I hope I say his name. Is it from UCLA? Fatu?
No, he's from Washington.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
They're going to stick him at guard. The Steelers are, and I don't think he'll be a tackle, but he's going to be a road grader at guard. The one at UCLA I'm talking about is Leatu Latu.
Oh, Latu. Okay.
The Colts got him.
Like you said about the neck injury. Like I remember watching that when he got picked, and I'm like, man, this guy's coming from a long way, and I can understand why some teams were scared to pick him because of his neck, because that's a pretty big injury, especially when it comes to football.
But again, I go by stats: 23.5 sacks in 2 years at UCLA.
That's pretty good.
He's the best He's the best pure pass rusher that was in the draft. Now the question is, like you said, can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
But that's for any of them. Football is a violent, brutal game.
It is.
So I don't know, but the Steelers had some good picks. The Eagles, I hate giving them credit too, but Quinyon Mitchell, I don't know how he fell that far to 24. To 24, that was a crime. No, really.
He was a small school kid, wasn't he?
Toledo.
Yeah.
But I mean, between him and Terry and Arnold, who the Lions got, they were the best corners in the draft.
They even said that too during the show. They were like, everybody was so offensive oriented, and then they said, "Oh, look at these like defensive backs."
Yeah, well, thank God, we wouldn't have got Verse.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have been offensive oriented.
When I saw he got drafted, I immediately thought of you, Carson, because I was like, Carson's probably just backflipping right now. He is screaming up top of his lungs.
Well, I don't backflip anymore, but my wheelchair was excited. I had 3 guys down in my mind for the first round if we could get them. And I knew it was going to be tough because I didn't think Verse would fall like that. I had Latu, him, and Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle from Texas, who the hell got him?
Was he a second rounder?
First.
Oh, first.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Come on, Kenny, who got him?
Oh boy, I'm drawing a blank.
1 second, NFL.
Oh, he's cheating. That's not fair.
You cheater! You cheater!
I'm just trying to help. Takes forever to load anymore. And you said he was a first rounder?
Yeah, he went in the top 15 picks.
My silly thing was not loading on me. But
so wait, I think Pee Wee's an Eagle fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
I bet
you had a good draft, Pee Wee, but you still can't beat the Rams. But I think now I'm going to cheat, Kenny. Oh, yeah, he went to one of my enemies, the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
Because they're in our division. That's a good pickup for them.
And another guy you talk about on pass rushers, I'm surprised Dallas Turner from Alabama fell down as far as he did.
Well, I knew I did. A lot of the draft experts said Turner was going to be the first edge rusher. I knew it was going to be Latu. You can't have the production that he had, without being the first guy taken. It went like I thought. I thought it was going to go Latu, Turner, Verse. The reason I like Verse better than both of them, seriously, if you go look at them, Latu and Turner are basically pass rushers. Verse is a pass rusher who's also damn good at stopping the run. And you got to do both. Got to do both in this leg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another one that kind of surprised me was the Raiders drafting Brock Bowers.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they need
another. But he's talented, though. Do you know it got leaked out? The Rams were going to trade up to try to get him.
Really?
Even though we didn't need a tight end. Sean McVay thought he was the best player in the draft. The one that's ready to be NFL ready right now.
Well, I think somebody mentioned it during the show too. They said the reason why the Raiders chose to get him too is they were trying to build weapons around their quarterback I think it's O'Connell,
and he's not that good. That's their problem. Poor Bowers is going to go to a team with a sucky quarterback.
Gardner Minshew.
There you go. Gardner wins, baby. He wins.
Yeah, he does.
Well, didn't he? I'm trying to think. Didn't they draft a quarterback in the later rounds of the Raiders?
They might have.
Because their strategy, it sounds like to me, like they're like, okay, well, we may not be able to get a quarterback right away, but we're going to try to build some weapons. So if we do find a quarterback, we'll have weapons for him when he gets here.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't that many after that initial run that were worth even drafting.
Yeah, because I think 6 in the first round, but overall, I forget how many quarterbacks were drafted.
Yeah, I know after the 6th round, after the first round, there wasn't a quarterback drafted until, I think, Rattler of the Saints.
That's a sneaky good pick.
Could be.
I think.
Could be.
Do you think they're going to hold him back with Derek Carr there still?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. Rattler is not ready to be an NFL starter yet. None of them are.
Yeah.
My God, look at Manning's rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have, like 20 interceptions?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ready.
Especially when you're a team, because like if you look at the first 3 picks were quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they're all going to have to start.
Yeah. But even Brady didn't start his rookie year. He sat behind Bledsoe.
It was an entry that even to begin with.
Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely.
He should send Bledsoe a residual check every year. Thanks for getting hurt.
And what was it like? 7 Super Bowls later?
I don't like to talk about. My thing that I like now is to say this: the Patriots suck. It does my heart great. The only thing that makes me happier in the NFL is to go, the 49ers suck.
And you know what's crazy about the Patriots? It's like at one point before Brady and even Bledsoe got there, at one point they were even thinking about moving the franchise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now they're in real sad shape right now. They are. They're in sad shape. Drake May is the quarterback I pity the most. He's coming into New England with an offense that is just garbage. Absolute garbage.
It's going to be interesting how they try to protect him and like weapons to try to work around him, try to help him out best they can.
He's probably going to go halfway through the season. Why did these guys draft me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to talk about people feeling that way, quarterback-wise. The Bengals were really focusing on offense to help Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they need to focus on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense, when he's healthy, their offense has never been the problem. It's their defense.
Right.
That's what I like about McVay. He's a smart coach. He knew our offense was top 10 last year. Now, he did get caught. He knew he needed a backup running back. But they went out in the draft for defense. They went all out to build up this. It's young, but it's fast, and it's going to be good. So, I liked it. I was happy. We'll see, though, because it all could be for naught, and all the players turn out to be garbage.
Yeah, I never liked how they always grade teams.
No, because you can't. How can you grade? How can you grade when you haven't even seen them on the field yet?
Like, not even a preseason game.
They get a B and all this stuff. Yeah, okay. Come here, Kuiper. I'll smack you right in the mouth.
That's almost as bad as all the damn mock drafts they have up until the time of the draft.
Oh my God. And then after the draft, did you see they did the Athletic did a 2025 mock draft?
Already?
Oh,
wow. Already.
Jeez.
Yeah. Already.
I would at least give those guys 3 years before even.
You don't even know who's coming out. They did put, just anybody didn't see it, Michael Williams, defensive tackle from Georgia, as the number 1 pick.
Do you guys think Georgia's going to come back and win a national title?
I already said right from the start, Ohio State. I'm taking the Buckeyes. Georgia's going to be good, but Carson Beck. But if Howard can play even halfway decent, Buckeyes got so much talent. It's scary. They did have a Penn State kid in the top 10 in the 2025 mock, Abdul Carter, the linebacker from Penn State. I think they're going too far. They compared him to Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that's...
No, he's not.
Micah Parsons is a genetic freak of nature.
Well, until I stood next to him when Harrisburg played Mifflin County, I stood next to him and went, shit, 6'5", 250. What the hell? Bring it on, boy! I did stand right next to him. And it's like, oh my God. This is a high school kid? How are they going to block him? And they didn't. Mifflin County couldn't block him. He'd line up everywhere. Defensive end, outside backer. All you're hearing is Parsons was in the backfield more than the running backs were.
It was freaky seeing him in high school, and he had a good run at Penn State.
He's not the best player I ever seen in high school. He isn't.
Who would you put as the best?
And then I saw LaShawn McCoy.
And he went to Pitt?
Yeah, he was played for the Eagles and the Bills. He went to Bishop McDevitt. And I saw him. I covered it for the Mirror. They were playing Altoona. And first play from scrimmage, they go off tackle to McCoy, and he goes 70 yards for a touchdown. So Altoona punts. They give it to McCoy. Off tackle again, 64 yards for a touchdown. They took him out after he only played one half. He had 173 yards and 3 touchdowns in one half.
Jeez.
And I'm like, wow. Wow. And I seen some good ones. I covered Larry Johnson at State College. Parsons is up there. But as far as just being electric, the NFL beat you down, and McCoy running backs get killed in that league.
Mm-hmm.
And he slowed down and had to retire. But boy, when he was younger, that kid had moves, speed, just amazing.
And
You knew he was gonna be a pro. As soon as you saw him, it's like, shit, he's a pro.
And Larry Johnson was okay for a while too, and I think he just got beat down
Yeah, I mean, Johnson was good at Kansas City
Yeah.
when he did. All running backs get beat down, just like he beat down his girlfriends.
Oh, jeez.
Well, he did.
I'm not going to touch on that one, but
I hope Larry Johnson is not listening to this podcast. If he is, don't tell him where I live.
well, and you talk about and that to me just makes like guys like Frank Gore even more impressive to me.
Gore reminded me of Emmitt Smith. Stuck around too damn long. Smith stuck around just so we could say, I got the record. I got the record. You know, if Barry Sanders wouldn't have retired, nobody would have touched the record.
It's true. That is very true.
Or Jim Brown. Him and Barry Sanders both retired in their primes. Sanders only played 10 years. Brown played 9. Emmitt Smith got 17,000 yards in like 16 years. Brown had 12,000 in 9, and they only played a 12-game schedule. Who's better? If anybody out there would even say Emmitt Smith, you deserve, just slap yourself right now.
And don't get me wrong. I think Emmitt Smith's a great running back, but you know, guys like Walter Payton and then like Barry Sanders, like he left. You said he played what, 10 years?
Sanders, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus,
if I had to rate them, my top 3 would be Brown, Sanders, Payton for running backs. Jim Brown was the greatest football player ever.
Yes. Yeah.
Ever. He came in 1958. And this is before, you know, running backs could be like, oh, he's 5'10", 160. Wow. Jim Brown came in at like 6'3", 255. And was ferocious. He was also, can't remember the guy's name now, the old coach at Syracuse, lacrosse. Jim Brown played lacrosse at Syracuse. And his coach said he was the greatest lacrosse player ever. Can you imagine in lacrosse a 6'2", 255-pound guy coming at you with a stick? Get the hell out of his way.
Hey, I like watching lacrosse. That'd be kind of cool to see, actually.
He was the best. There's no doubt in my mind. But other people say Brady and some will say Jerry Rice. But
good pick.
It was Jimmy Brown. He changed the game. He changed the game. Not many have changed the game. Very few. You can count on your one hand. One of them was him. Another one was Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because offenses would go, how the hell do we stop this guy? They would have to game plan. They'd have to game plan their offense for him. How do we stop this animal? Especially an animal that's cracked up.
Yeah,
he's smoking crack before games. Let me at him.
It's funny you say that because, like, I obviously wasn't around his time, but just watching highlights of him, it kind of reminds you of, like, the 85 Bears, except it was just one guy. Like,
I was around him, and he was a force to be reckoned with, wasn't he, Kenny?
Oh, yeah. That hit he put on Theismann, I can still
cringe. The broken leg one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Monday Night Football.
Highlights.
Oh, just broke his ankle. You could see it. Just crumble.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. And I'm just watching highlights. You guys saw the whole game.
I watched the game, and it's like, that was the most wicked injury I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And even Taylor was all upset, yelling for the trainers to come out. He knew what happened. He heard it snap.
Did he even say that in an interview? He said like he heard it snap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
God.
the bone went right out through the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
It ended Joe Theismann's career.
Yeah.
ugh.
Didn't it even off balance his feet? Like
Yeah.
one leg was shorter than the other, and
Yeah,
he's had problems walking too.
yeah, it ruined him.
Mm-hmm.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right, we can't go without talking about this weekend and you're covering it, Kenny. It's the Mifflin County Class of 2024 Hall of Fame and the inductees. This will be Saturday, I think, starting at 6, right?
Right. Yep.
Out at Birch Hill. If you live around here, you know where I'm talking about, out in Burnham.
Mhm.
Saturday, May 4th at 6 o'clock. If you want to go, it's $40 for a ticket, $30 if you're a member. And we got 5 that are going in the hall. Brad Heckert, Justin Henry, Laura Lote, Rod Tate, and I don't know how he's getting in, Kevin Kodish. Hell.
You know, it's scary.
Kodish, you, me, and Josh could have coached that team. With Krista, Jenna Feathers, and Maddie Johnston on it. Girls, go out and do your thing. That's all we had to do.
And he almost wanted to get an 04.
Yep. With
Just
Jenna
kidding.
Craig, wasn't it? Jenna Craig?
Yeah, Jenny Cunningham, Alicia Espy,
Anna Kaufman.
Anna Kaufman. I'm forgetting some. Yeah, it was a good team.
Craig Cunningham. And I think
I didn't cover the back-to-back. I was at the Sentinel, but I wasn't. Franco didn't trust me enough to cover anything then. I did cover the one in 04.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, I was with the Observer back with the County O.
So, Heckert is the all-time leading scorer in Chief Logan. I will say something. His brother Brian is a Ram fan. Go, Brian. The late, great Justin Henry played 3 sports, basketball and football at Rhode Island. Kodish, whatever. I don't know, what, 700 wins, almost over 700 wins?
I believe so, yeah.
2-time state champ, 1-time finalist. Laura Lote, 2-time state champ in the javelin for IB. And then Rodney Tate, first ever state champion in the Mifflin County history, 1971. And I thought that was really cool is the guest speaker is John Fritz, who was a head coach, assistant coach, and then head coach at Penn State. But that is who Rod Tate beat for the state title.
Oh, wow. That's
really?
cool. I didn't know that.
And they got Fritz there. Fritz was the favorite. He was the runner-up the year before and came in undefeated, and Tate pinned him. Shocked everybody. And he ended up winning an NCAA championship in college for Penn State in 1975. He's going to be the guest speaker. Plus, they do a team every year. They're going to recognize the 1971 Penn Highlands wrestling team that Tate was on. Still the only undefeated wrestling team in Mifflin County.
And that's not easy to do in wrestling.
So it's a big night.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you looking forward to? Kenny?
Me, I just like hearing all the stories. It's going to be kind of odd this year because you and I have covered 3 out of the 5.
Yeah.
So what's that say about us? But no, I just I enjoy hearing the speeches that each individual gives and the behind the scenes look at what they were thinking, what they were going through, what they accomplished. It's kind of neat. I get to see all the um, veteran players and different people from all across the Mifflin County athletic world. It's just a great evening if you're a sports fan. I'm lucky I get to sit and enjoy it and just soak it all in and write a story about it.
Do you know what's really cool? You should check it out before you go.
Mhm.
Uh, before you go on Saturday, Adrian Stewart uh, put up the video of Rod Tate winning the state championship on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Really, it's just freaking awesome. It is.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Makes it, I mean, it's so sad what happened to him,
Mm,
to die that young.
yeah.
I think he was 23.
Really, that young?
Yeah. He was like 23 or 24. He was caught in a house fire and didn't get out. That was, I think, 1977 when that happened.
Jeez.
I remember reading about it in the paper as a young tyke. I was about, what the hell was I? About 11. So, Kenny, any shout outs, buddy?
Oh, I have shout outs. It's been a busy week.
All right, wait. We got to get your music. Why isn't it playing? Come on. There we go. Kenny Varner, shout outs.
All right. Here we go.
Go for it.
Okay. Shout out to Juniata softball player Alexi France. Picked up.
Oh, yeah. 100.
Yeah. Quite the feat. And it was great that she got to have that game, to celebrate the 100th career hit because do a shout out to my next Juniata County player is Liz Gazier. She hit hers, I think a game or two later. So
how about that? 100 hits and 1,000 strikeouts.
Yep. And she actually leads the state in strikeouts with 208 counting tonight's 15 strikeouts against Southern
Wow.
So
imagine that. Imagine that. You strike out 15 and lose.
And it was on a 2-run home run, which is very odd.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't give them up.
Shout out to State College girls lacrosse goalie Hannah Zaritsky. She had her 100th and 50th career save. So
nice
job there.
That's awesome.
Sticking with the lacrosse, we're shout out to Mifflin County lacrosse player Mara Gala.
Yeah,
she
100.
Her 100th goal. Yep.
She was on our show.
Yep. And she just had that spaghetti dinner. I hope a lot of people attended for her trip to Spain, I believe.
Yeah, I'm still pissed off. She ain't taking us.
Another shout out here to Mount Union softball player Sydney Harris. Blasted a 2-run homer in a 15-0 win over Northern Bedford. Awesome.
Yes.
We're going to get down to the little leagues here. I guess the travel leagues. Congratulations to Jack Mountain Ridge Runner, Crosby Sunderland, as he hit his first career home run. So
that's awesome.
First of many to come.
Yeah.
Had some action on the Juniata baseball side. Shout out to Juniata baseball player Brandon Snyder, roping the game-winning hit over Newport. Walk-off.
Cool.
So, yeah. Now we're going to go to the track and field. Shout out to Belfont's jumper, Eli Martin. Broke his previous boys pole vault record by a foot, bringing it up to 7.6. Congrats, Eli. Good job.
That's awesome.
We're going to say a shout out to Mifflin County's Liberty Cook. Led the team in points yesterday, placing in the 1600, winning against Carlisle, and the 800, taking second against both teams. So awesome job there. On the boys' side, shout out to Michael Simmons, broke 2 school records. First, he broke the 7-year-old record into 400, previously held by Seth Phillips, crossing the finish line at 50.30 seconds. He followed that achievement by breaking his own school record into 200 with a time of 21:74. So great job there. And a shout out to both the Mifflin County boys and girls softball team as they swept Mount Union last week. So like I said, with when you play Mount Union, if you can come out with a win, you're doing good. So that concludes my shout outs for this week.
All right. Sounds good, man. Any final words, Mr. Varner?
Oh, just if you're a sports fan, get out and enjoy this weather. Enjoy your favorite athlete, and I talked to a coach beginning of the week, Coach Don Lucas, and he told me at the end of this week, the season will be 3/4 of the way over. So
Crazy, huh?
it's going by quick, and it's so get out there while you can.
Josh, any final words?
Yes, I just I want to say again, thank you guys for having me on, and also I was at that game too with Mount Union, Mifflin County, the baseball game, and it was definitely fun to watch. And I just want to say a shout out to Mount Union's Bryce Danish, who's going to be going to Delaware to play Division I.
Nice.
And I also just want to say congratulations to Kiana Seckler, who just graduated from Pitt. To see what her and her family has gone through, and seeing what she's going to do with her degree and going out there. I just pray for her and her family, and I wish her the best.
Awesome. Okay, that's going to about wrap it up for this week. We'll be back again next Wednesday with another edition of the Press Box. Thank you for everybody listening and staying with us every week. We will talk to you next week. And for my co-host Kenny Varner, I'm Brian Carson. Have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. See you later.
Good night, everybody.